It is Friday. I don't know why, but it was about 20 years ago, so I don't get as excited for Fridays. I look at Friday as just any other day, but I do remember when I couldn't wait for Friday working a 9 to 5 on a job. Well, that doesn't have much to do maybe with today's topic, but I just remembered, Hubert, by the way, which let me bring you in, guys. Everybody, every single day I'm joined by the legendary Hall of Fame entrepreneur, Mr. Hubert Humphrey, who's my friend and business partner as well. Hubert, how are you? Happy Friday to you.
Great, good to be here with you guys, and it's been a great week thus far. But we're just getting ready. Got many more weeks to go.
Hey, when did you stop living for the weekend?
Every day's a weekend,
Every day is a weekend, right?
Yeah, every day is a holiday. When you play where you work and work where you play, and you don't go on vacations. You kind of live a vacation. That's
right.
That's what successful entrepreneurs do. They don't take vacations. They have some of their employees that they pay salaries to may take vacations because that's what the salaried class do. But entrepreneurs who are successful, their whole life is a vacation. Everything they do is
true. It's so true. And that, I don't know, maybe some wouldn't believe, but it is true. They might think we're just like workaholics or anything. We truly enjoy it. I can tell you that. That's probably one of the biggest benefits of being in the business that you love, doing things that you love, building something big.
The only recognition I give to weekends is that we have to do a lot of our bigger meetings sometimes on weekends so that the people who do have jobs can get off on weekends to come to our meetings. And a lot of the staff that work with us, and the executives and staff and things like that, some of them, obviously part of their perks is that they need some time off from the heavy schedules that we're putting them on as employees. And so we have to let them have the weekend. So I recognize the weekend for the value it holds for certain people.
Yeah. It was a weekend that I was able to go and learn about this great business. So thanks to the weekends.
That's right. If you got 1 million people taking their weekends to look at your opportunity, the weekend is wonderful.
That's why I said it. Absolutely. Hey, well, let us get started with today, because I know that when you're trying to win in business, got to think of it as you're in a battle. You're growing this thing. You're growing this business, and there is a plan. You must have a plan of battle. And I know you, studying the life of Alexander the Great, greatest conqueror considered by many ever existed, had a battle plan. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about why is it important to have a battle plan to win.
Well, if you look at Alexander, one of his most significant battles was when as he was going out on this plan to conquer the known world, and until the world ran out, and he had this Alexander complex, and he had started out with these 50,000 people that followed him. They were very elite. They were very trained. They were filled with desire. They all had a portion of his Alexander complex. They were modern day Alexanders themselves, following him. But as they finally come to this great battle, what he considered sort of the final great battle, he said. In fact, if you go and get the movie from I think it was like 1956, 1960, something like that, with Richard Burton playing the role of Alexander the Great. You can kind of see a vivid scenes in the movie. And what he's doing, they'd been traveling along, and now they're coming to the night before the big battle, and he's going to go up against King Darius. He was the emperor of Persia, and they wanted to redeem the Greek glory from a century earlier, where the original Darius and them had kind of beaten the Greeks. And so here they were at this final moment for it's payback time. And they got 50,000 men. He's got 1,000,000 men. Now, most of his were mercenaries and people he was paying from other countries to come in and hired guns to fight. So he had a lot of bodies. He just didn't have a conquer the world format system like Alexander did. And so here's Alexander now. He's given, and every battle has to have you have big plans, but inside your big plan has got to be plans for individual battles. And so here they are now. He's at the campsite that night. He's got all of his generals, all of his soldiers, and they're all there. And no matter how disciplined they are, they can hear all this 1,000,000 men over beating on their shields, keeping them up at night, getting them all excited. And even one of the scouts, Alexander's scouts, come back from a scout patrol, and he comes running into the meeting and saying, Alexander, I have seen the enemy. He's got 1,000,000 men, blah, blah, blah. And Alexander stopped him. He says, wait a minute. I have met the enemy. I've seen the enemy, and it is us. The enemy is not on the other side of the river over there. It's us. It's us. All we got to do is just conquer ourselves. Anyway, so he gives them a simple battle plan, and then we'll jump over to how that affects people today and their battle plans. He says, in so many words, he says, remember, we are outnumbered in every way except courage and discipline. Meaning, we've got so much courage and discipline in our way and how we do business and how we do our battle. And you guys are so trained, and you got the hearts of a lion. You got the Alexander complex. You got all that. He doesn't have that over there. He's got more men, but they're weak. They don't have what we have. Mm-hmm. He says, here's the plan. I want you to hold and wait. Now this is a kind of a scary. If you're one of Alexander's guys, it could be scary. He's telling you when you see these 1,000,000 men charging down the hill towards you, don't panic. Just take your 18-foot phalanx spears that you've got, all these great shields you've got, and lock arms and make us like we're one big giant tank. We're one impenetrable force. We're just all right there together. Don't move. Don't move. He says, hold and wait, hold and wait, hold and wait. And then he says, by the way, when he was saying hold and wait, is that and then when all these 1,000,000 troops got to you, break ranks, spread open. Don't try to engage them. Just let them run through, and then regroup and let us. If we don't want to fight his 1,000,000 men. Mm-hmm. We're going. He says when we charge, hold and wait, hold and wait, hold and wait. When we charge, have one thought: kill Darius. In other words, open up, let them all run through with their chariots. They can't turn around. By that time, we've all got our 50,000 men, and we're going after one guy. That's that guy Darius sitting up on top of that hill in his chariot. And when Darius saw what was happening, the 50,000 men were coming after him. He hauled butt. He took off. Of course, the war was won in 45 minutes. Alexander, I don't think, lost a single person. I'm sure he lost somebody, but the history says he almost lost nobody in a 45-minute battle. 50,000 went against him because 50,000 didn't fight 1,000,000. He outfoxed them. Anyway, he had a plan. He had a plan for battle, and those types of plans was what he used to go out and conquer battle by battle, country by country, what he called the known world, until he wanted to reach the outer ocean because he thought that's where the world ran out. And so everybody in life and in business, you need to have your plan of battle. And if you just digest what he says in his plan of battle, you've got to assess. You know what your strengths are. You know what the strengths or weaknesses of the competition or the opposition or the situation you're facing. What are the holes? Napoleon used to do the same thing. He would send out different ones of his kind of companion cavalry type people. He copied Alexander, and he would let them go and engage a little bit here. They'd engage a little line over here. They'd move over here. And they kept touching, making contact with the enemy to see how they were reacting until he could assess. Now, All of a sudden, now I see the whole. I've watched him move around now. I know where the weakness is, and then, bam, he would concentrate his greatest strengths at the decisive point, and all of his shock forces would just go right through that weak hole that he found. And that's sort of what you got to do in life. You need to assess your strengths, know what they are, be confident in them. Make sure the people that are on your team, they all see that same vision. They're fired up. And then you know what the weakness is. You know what you need to do. You know what it's going to. In other words, you know what your competition can do and can't do. And if you're in a race, you know how fast they can run. You know how fast you can run. Just outrun them. You know, or have a better tool to get there. So that's what he's saying, doing. But then you got to have the patience, hold and wait. Well, sometimes we just want to go out and do things. We try to do things too fast, or we do things too late. So let's hold and wait until it's the right time. That's when you deliver something. In life, I'll promise you, timing has had as much to do with success in my life and the life of a lot of people that I'm associated with as anything. Timing. So it's the timing when we saw it, the timing when we started it, the timing by which we got ourselves prepared, the timing that we have to make our biggest strike. And so you got it's those old windows we talk about. And then the last part of it, he says, when we charge, have but one thought. Now that's the key. Can you get your people where you and your people now, you have one singular thought? It's when you read the peak performance where it talks about the moon mission, the Apollo mission to go to the moon, that whole peak performance book talks about everybody, whether it was the janitor, whether it was the secretaries, whether it was outside vendor companies that were producing things for like the company that was going to produce the lunar landing module that was going to ride around the little cart, the little motorized deal. Everybody that was going to be a part of that project had pictures of the moon on their desks, murals on their warehouses. Everybody had one thought: put the man on the moon before the end of the decade, like President Kennedy had said. Go to the moon. Nothing else meant anything. All the other stuff was important to get to that one goal. Kill Darius. Go to the moon. And in our business, kill Darius is code for, I tell our people to hold and wait, to have but one thought, and that's to recruit and build. Recruit and build. Keep recruiting and building. Keep recruiting and building people. That's our version of kill Darius.
And that, my friends, is a very interesting description of having a plan, inspired by how Alexander the Great went out and conquered everything. I can't add anything. It was flawless. I enjoyed it. Unless you have anything to close it up, we're in that minute to close it up for everybody. But I think if I enjoyed it, everybody listening right now enjoyed it. And
the one thing I'll tell them is this: the best way to enjoy this weekend is to get out there and do something historic with your business plans during this weekend. Whatever you're doing, make sure you come out of this weekend more ready for battle than ever before. It's one thing to go over and play, sit by the pool and play golf and do all the things you want to do, but somewhere in there, sharpen that sword. Get that tip of the spear ready to do something great, and we'll see you at the top.
Hey, thank you, Hubert, for that. And all I can add is that it was that one weekend I made the decision to go and listen to something different, a different vehicle. I was stuck in a 9-to-5, actually more than 9-to-5 many times, just assembling cell phone batteries at this cell phone company. And it was because I opened my mind to listening to something different. It changed my life. I haven't had a need to really get a salary or be a job, right, for 2 decades. And I can tell you that the biggest benefit to that is being able to, you still have to do a lot of work. You probably work more than before, but it's kind of on my terms. But the thing is that it's because of the industry. It's because of the potential of the industry and what we can build here. Why don't you just do yourself a favor? Go check out the HCI opportunity by going to hciopportunity.com. We've made it so simple for you to remember. HGIopportunity.com. Listen to a full presentation. It's very precise, to the point, but vision-stretching presentation that is going to explain why the financial industry is where you need to be, why HGI, why by the hand of Hubert Humphrey, and you'll learn about this great system that we talk about in this podcast over and over again every single day, almost, at least Monday through Friday. With that being said, have a record weekend. Don't forget to tune in on Monday to celebrate our 100th episode of the Conquistador Podcast. We'll have something special for you. Hubert, have a great weekend yourself, sir. Thank you very much.
Right. You too. See you later.
Warning, this podcast may change the way you think about business, entrepreneurship, and money forever. The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. To be an epic entrepreneur, you must adopt the right mental paradigms as well as master the art of selling, marketing, and finance.